three things and then round up from here. So the theme of the program is unlocking Nigeria's demographic dividend. So, and you are the dividend. What do they mean by demographic dividend? We have a demographic advantage, okay, because the average age of Nigeria, the mean age, you know, when you talk about mean median mode, the mean age of Nigeria is actually 16.9 years old. We're a very young country, 16.9 years old. We're still having a very healthy population growth rate, okay? It's reducing, mind you, it's really reducing, our growth rate is reducing, but it's still healthy at about 2.3% growth every year. And please, I want us to always note some of these things because we don't have to wait for a foreigner to come and tell us what's going on about our country. We have to know what's going on in our country ourselves. In the days that we were growing up, many decades ago, you see many women with 12 children, 11 children, 9 children, 10 children. Even among illiterate people now, very few women allow themselves to become baby factories, to be having children every year. It's tough. Even among illiterate, even in the north of Nigeria, where we usually associate with such things. The education over time is seeping in because there are many organizations that go around, educating people on some of these things, on, how to take care of yourself and how to prevent unnecessary unwanted pregnancy. The demographic dividend we're talking about is you. How do we harness and unlock that dividend? This question is saying that how can we get the most from you guys, the young people? How can Nigeria get the most from the fact that we are a young country, 16.9 years is the average age. Nigeria is said to be, or that we will be at some point in time, the country that supplies the human capital for the rest of the world. Mind you, there's artificial intelligence, robotics, and so on the other side. Internet of things, and internet of everything. Are you trying to tell me my time is up? How much more time do I have? You put it here? No, it's actually up. Oh, time's up. You don't know what the meaning of keynote address is. So even me, I can't wait to leave. So don't worry, sit down. Give me 5 minutes, I'll be done. But when you say keynote, you know what I'm saying. The keynote is not a casual delivery. Okay? It's something that gets the day going. Anyway, that said, very quickly, so there's artificial intelligence which actually has begun to take a lot of people out of work. In fact, in the last 1 month, the biggest tech companies have laid off more than 100,000 people. Meta, Google, Amazon, been churning out tens of thousands, and you just see the notes. In fact, there was one of them who went for a meeting from her location to New York, and by the time she got to New York, their headquarters, for a meeting, they had laid her off. They didn't even make provision for how she would get back to her location. So all of those challenges are there, but all the same, how can we get the most of you? How can we still ensure that Nigeria provides those young people that will make the world go round from now into the future? Because there are many countries where their problem is bigger than ours in that direction. You know, when your population begins to fall as a country, what you're looking at is extinction. It can take 100 years, but when your population begins to fall, you're facing extinction. Because I realize that a falling population is much more difficult to deal with than a growing population. Before Pope John Paul died in 1990-something, he used to beg Italians, please have more children. But because of the, the modernity we have these days, man marrying man, woman marrying man, nobody's having those children anymore. Italy is one of the countries that's facing reducing population. Nigeria, we have good problems. Population is growing. We have young, vibrant people. Many of us are abroad. Many of these young people are abroad doing great things. But you don't have to go abroad. Look at what they do. When they want people, they will say, we are doing this migrant skill program. We want the best. Then 2 years or 3 years after, you change the rule. And you go on TV, you'll be hearing them saying, all these migrants are the ones taking our job. They're giving us problems. When you wanted them, immediately after the Second World War, in the 1950s, Britain needed to build. And they opened up the system. There was what is called the wind rush, when they brought in a lot of people from the Caribbean and even places like Nigeria. They brought a lot of people into the UK to come and do the physical work for them. But after which, some of them will start complaining. So we don't have to wait and be used. We can be proud people. Those same things we achieve abroad. I want us to get that mindset that, look, we're going to make good with ourselves here and be able to bring out money and go and do our holidays abroad and come back as people of dignity, not to be running all over the place. And even in Africa, the last one was Cambodia, even though they denied it. But we saw that letter that said in Cambodia that all Africans should leave. Africans are not, we are not meant to be anybody's slave. The slave trade is over, you know. And you must know that as young people. So how do we get that? Of course, when you talk about getting that demographic dividend, the whole idea is how do we invest in you guys? And also the ones that are coming behind you. Of course, the first default to be how much money are we spending on education? How much money are we spending on health? How much money are we spending on nutrition and what have you? But it goes beyond that. Okay? Number one, don't let anybody tell you that your education is bad. I hear that all the time. I mean, there was our friend Tosin Eleonora Money Point when he said he couldn't find 500 people to employ. I was actually one of the ones who intervened and criticized that position very quickly. You train them. When I left university, I didn't know a lot of things. I got trained. I got a job in the banking sector in 1992. I didn't know how to use the computer then because there were no computers then. But training, I became one of the best, one of the highest speed in terms of computer processing and doing some of this job. Of course, a lot of the job, you now do it yourself on your phone. All of this, making a transfer in the bank and all of that. You know, you train them. Nobody comes fully fitted. And for you to know that your education is not useless, if you go abroad to do your master's, you find that you are one of the best in your class. I did my master's 0506. It was a belated master's. Of course, I was second best. I made my distinction in financial markets and derivatives. Only one guy was better than me, one guy from Uzbekistan. We knew the guy was special. Another guy, the three of us had distinction. The third guy was from Algeria. There's nothing wrong with your education. The fact that you have actually struggled through university is a plus. For the fact that, of course, even lately, we have scenarios where, unfortunately, I see scenarios where they say lecturers are victimizing students and so on. It's just absurd. You go through all of that, you still know something, and someone tells you your education system is nonsense. It is not nonsense. Even if you went to the worst school, nobody can enter any library of a polytechnic or teacher training college and read all the books and understand all the books in their library. So we have to have respect for education, and we have to have respect for ourselves. So when you talk about improving the demographic dividend, Nigeria is spending a lot of money on education, fair enough. Mr. President introduced student loan, fair enough, okay? But the challenge is not actually how much money is being spent on education. The problem is how do we rethink that education? How do we ensure that education fits into the current issues of the world? Because more than anything else, you people are global citizens. I was surprised that these two ladies said they are not on the, I think they just don't want to talk to me. Said they are not on social media. And everybody's on social media. In fact, if you are not on it, social media is on you. If you are not on social media is on you, one way or the other. So the point is, how do we tool you? And that's one of the things I'm here to say, and part of what I've been saying for a few minutes now. You know, so you have to help yourself. Okay? You have to help yourself. If you're talking about artificial intelligence, how many people have done AI training? Even if it's 1 day or 2. You have? You have? How many? How many? Raise your hand. Raise. Show. AI training. Yeah, at least you can see 5, 6 people. The rest of you, what are you waiting for? That's what's running your life now, honestly. And there are so many. Many of them are even free. Even old man like me. I'm starting one, June 11, even though I've been studying, I've used, every one of us, we use you know, I like Gemini. I like Gemini for my work. You know, it helps me. Sometimes when I have a lot of work to do, I can just do a prompt on Gemini, but you need to be catching up, honestly. So one thing I want to say with you you are now BSc, BA, B Engine, whatever, or you are a medical doctor, you have gone out through Nigerian schools. Now don't wait for anybody. Constant learning, especially about the things that matter. I wrote an article 2 days ago on my social media as well, on my Facebook, where I said, do you know one thing? It's also important for young people to get skills. The jobs that will be difficult for AI to take out are jobs like welder. Dangote was looking for welder. He had to bring 11,000 welders from India. They couldn't retrain the welders in Nigeria. Why? Because those welders in Nigeria, they needed to understand some aspects of geometry. Because it's precision welding, and because it's difficult for you to start to teach Baba Moruf somewhere in Ibadan geometry, they had to skip it and bring somebody from India who probably has gone to a technical college to be able to understand welding. Welder, plumber. AI is not going to do your plumbing for you. AI is not going to do your tiling for you. AI is not going to do your masonry for you. So begin to look at that. And even if you find yourself abroad, my friend in UK, Wale, I saw Wale build a whole house by himself, and he trained his children to do that. Tiling, masonry, everything, plumbing. I don't know how the guy does it, you know, so much energy. So please get skilled, because that's where the world is going, in order for you to. So in achieving this demographic dividend, and I'll be done in 2 minutes, in achieving this demographic dividend, it will be your cooperation with what government can do. And you should also understand that it is valid if you criticize government and point out the things that government should be doing. Absolutely nothing wrong. Where I diverge is where it's all toxic and negative and, you know, abuses and so on. And there's something it does to you, those who are abusing on social media. It just keeps pulling them down themselves. It's like they're pulling themselves down. I've seen some of very toxic stuff that people write. It's just not worth it. All right, so that's that. On health, in order to get that demographic dividend, you want your demography, the young people, to grow up in good health. But it's not just about increasing allocation to health sector. So because the best you would hear from maybe NGOs and activists will be that, look at how much percentage Nigeria is spending on health. It's not the percentage. I've seen where, in fact, the other day I shared on my Facebook as well, some guys in University College Hospital, UCH Ibadan, when their CSO caught them moving some drugs out of that place. So government will spend, but the boys that will steal the drugs, they are there, they know themselves. This morning I see shared Onisha Bridge, second Niger Bridge. Some guys, they've been removing a lot of, and the way they remove it, if any tire gets there, it gets burst, you can tumble into the Atlantic Ocean or even into the Niger River. So there's all of that kind of problem. So let's look beyond how much is government allocating. Of course, we're not saying you shouldn't follow government allocation. Follow government allocation, criticize it, tell government what we should be doing and all of that. Add value, have good suggestions, but let's begin to think outside the box. It's not just about those numbers. And of course, nutrition. So because when you talk about improving human lives, it's the nutrition, the food that people get to eat, the health, and the education. That's how you make children grow stronger. So nutrition also is a factor, but I think we should also be very analytical about it, because we need to go back to the agri sector and make sure that we're producing the things that we eat ourselves. And I think we've been lucky in the past 2-3 years. We've had very good harvests. The last bad scenario we had was 2022, when we had a lot of flood. That flood was devastating. And so because of that, 2023, a lot of people went back to the farm, and we've been having very good harvests. Last year, we saw a scenario where the prices of food started to drop. And I still have in my phone many complaints from many farmers who complain very bitterly. They say, oh, it's because you guys are importing. But of course, rice price rose to the point every Nigerian was complaining, and then government heard that people were hoarding in different places food that they should be sold, and government said, okay, let us import some rice and some maize. But it's not everything. Things like tomatoes and cassava, all of those things were not imported. In fact, cassava right now, as I'm talking to you, is wasting on many farms, unfortunately. So I think that's just basically my take on this. Yeah, my people say, when you say half a word, you can multiply it with your own imagination in your head. We don't have to preach to you guys. All of you, everybody here is an adult. But I want to encourage you, one last word, that if I was a prophet, okay, I would say there's a potential governor in Nigeria here. There's a potential senator. There's a potential president. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you it's not possible, especially to the young people. And of course, to the not so young as well, who are sitting in the front row. This is where the distinguished old men and old women are sitting. Anyway, they are not that old. I know that women don't like to be told that they are old anyway. So this is our country. And it's an open system, it's an open canvas. There's a whole lot we can achieve. And I want to thank you guys for inviting me to this function. It's been good discussing with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our keynote for an insightful keynote speech. I had a take back, and it's actually one of my favorite quotes. Nobody owes you nothing. And that was why earlier I asked, how many of us are dreamers here? Dare to dream, pursue that dream until it becomes a reality. Nobody owes you anything. And it takes us back to incentives and agency. Yeah, when you talk about nobody owes you anything, you just have to think about incentives and agency. What do you think about that, Nisi?
Particularly, one of the major takes I took from the keynote is entrepreneurship is not for everybody. I remember I started selling foodstuff about some time ago.
Okay.
And I ate everything.
You ate?
So, but on a more serious note.
Talk about a typical Nigeria setting.
Entrepreneurship may not be for everybody. Some of us need to work in the federal sector and every other places.
Wow.
And another thing is, one important statement he made, he said Nigeria is writing his story in present time. So Nigeria is going to be great. We are on the journey there. And once we believe that Nigeria will be great, Nigeria will be great again.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I have to interrupt. Before our distinguished guests go, we would want to present an award of a humanitarian award to Honorable Tokwe on behalf of Help Us Charitable Foundation. In doing this, we want to call Most Lionel Sick and JJ Usman SCN to help present this piece.
Dr. Tokwe Faswa, on behalf of the Help Us Charitable Foundation, today be the 30th day of May 2026, I present this award of humanitarian award to you.
Well, thank you very much. I know I talk too much. I wish we had more time to talk as well, but thank you for this award. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, distinguished guests, legal practitioners in the building, senior advocates, think tanks, captains of industries, developers, ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor of reading a citation for our next keynote speaker. J.J. Usman's son is a prominent Nigerian lawyer and a senior advocate of Nigeria. I'm smiling because it takes a lot. Recognized for his expertise in constitutional, electoral, and commercial litigation, he is the founder and managing partner of J.J. Usman & Co., an Abuja-based law firm known for handling high-profile political and appellate cases. A former first vice president of the Nigeria Bar Association, he has significant influence within the Nigeria legal community, widely accepted for his courtroom advocacy and institutional experience. He is regarded as one of the country's leading senior litigators, particularly in election and constitutional law matters. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with a singular honor that I invite to the podium J.J. Usman, S.A.N.
Good morning to everyone this morning. The founder of the foundation, all the executives, all my colleagues here, permit me to stand on the protocol already established. Before I proceed, permit me to make a correction. I don't want to be dressed in a borrowed robe, and I don't want to commit the offense of impersonation. In the course of reading my citation, I was referred to as a former first vice president of the NBA. Permit me to correct that. I have never been one, and I don't want to be one. I'm a full member of NBA, a full contributor to NBA, a full supporter of NBA by all standard and ramification. We have never ventured into the NBA politics, talk less of contesting an election. If there's anything I don't want to do in my life, is to contest for an election. But if there's anything I want to do in my life, is to support those that are contesting the election. So please permit me to correct that. I want to sincerely thank the executive members of this foundation for founding me in share topic. When my Thomas Thompson came knocking, so I always like to learn because I have not learned enough. Why don't you call me to come and sit down and learn from those that have gained the experience? Unfortunately, he declined my offer. So this morning, within the few minutes I have, because I believe if you want a program to be profitable, make it snappy. If you go to a church that a pastor continues to preach endlessly, in few time and in no time, you see the congregants start snoring. So I believe that whatever I'm doing, as worthy as it is, snappiness will be my key. Unlocking Nigeria's demographic dividends. It's my singular honor and privilege to address this distinguished gathering on the subject of immense national significance, unlocking Nigeria's demographic dividends. Annual Leadership Summit of the Help Us Charitable Foundation. Nigeria stands today at a defining moment in history. Our nation is blessed with an estimated population exceeding 230 million people. More importantly, over 60% of Nigerian population are under the age of 30. Like most persons seated here today, this youthful population presents Nigeria with unprecedented opportunity for economic growth, innovation, social transformation, and sustainable development. However, as history has shown, a large youthful population does not automatically translate into prosperity. The demographic dividend is not a gift. It is an opportunity that must be deliberately cultivated through sound policies, strategic investment, effective governance, and strong institutions. It is important to understand primarily that the concept of demographic dividend refers to economic growth potential that can result from shifts in population's age structure, particularly when the working age population becomes larger relative to the dependent population. Countries like South Korea, Singapore, China, and even recently Rwanda have demonstrated how strategic investment in human capital can transform population into economic prosperity. For Nigeria, the question is not whether we possess the demographic advantage, but whether we are prepared to harness it. When you talk of demographic dividend, the investment in human beings, not investment in road construction, buildings, and what have you. But what have you done? What have you invested into the youth? For us as youth, they say we are leaders of tomorrow. And for you to lead tomorrow, you must be properly guided and invested into. Our youthful population is energetic, innovative, technologically inclined, and entrepreneurial. Nigerian youth continue to distinguish themselves across the world in technology, academic, medicine, law, sports, entertainment, and business. Yet, despite this enormous potential, many young Nigerians face significant challenges. Youth unemployment and underdevelopment remain major concern. Access to quality education remains uneven. Healthcare outcomes continue to require improvement. Poverty and social inequality persist. Many talented youth are now compelled to seek opportunities abroad. Brain drain, Japa, that doctor spoke earlier. It is true that when you go out of the country, you will realize that Nigerians are doing extremely well in all the fields. When you go to the United Kingdom today, best hospitals are being managed by Nigerian doctors. You go to the United States of America that we all crave to go, you will discover that the best hospitals have Nigerian doctors, best in everything. You talk of law, we have Nigerians practicing all over the world who are Queen's Counsel in the United Kingdom, Queen's Counsel in Australia, Senior Counsel in America. What is our problem in Nigeria? Why are we jackpying? We are jackpying because the institution has failed to invest in us. And if the institution has failed in us, what can we do? That is when we have to put on our thinking cap and to invest in ourselves. If all of us decide to leave Nigeria today to go to other countries, who will remain behind? Who will develop our countries? It may interest all of us here to know, if you have never traveled, you think there's something special about traveling. Many Nigerians who travel, so many of them who travel, they find it difficult to come back home. I can tell you for free. So many of Nigerians that travel abroad find it difficult to return home because we do better here. In Nigeria, you earn a little, but you live well. So the problem is we have to look inward. We have to invest in ourselves. My people have one adage that if my husband does not call me, I'll call myself. That is, if the country refuses to invest in you, you have to stand up and invest in yourself. How to unlock Nigeria's demographic dividends? I look at one, education. This is the foundation, this is the bedrock of every dividend. No nation can unlock its demographic dividend without investing substantially in education. Any country that runs its budget with less on education suffers a lot. Any country that budgets a lot into education but utilizes less, also suffers a lot. That is where Nigeria is. When you look at the Nigerian budget, a lot is dedicated to education, but does it really go into it? The answer is no, and that is why we suffer a lot. Education remains the most powerful instrument for national transformation. Beyond literacy, our educational system must equip young Nigerians with relevant skills for the 21st century economy. Critical thinking, digital literacy, artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship, vocational competence, and innovation must become central pillar of our educational framework. Governments, educational institutions, and private sector must collaborate to bridge the gap between academic learning and the labor market demands. We must produce graduates who are not merely job seekers, but job creators. And that is the essence of this program today. Yes, our parents have trained us to school. They have paid the school fees, study in one of the best schools, some from their pre-nursery to nursery, secondary to university, pass through private schools. That is the best your father and your mother can do for you. But now, are we going to wait for governments endlessly? I had a discussion with my wife some time ago. If you send a child to school, for instance, where you pay $30,000 in a term, in a year you are paying $60,000. If the child finishes the school, by the time he is finishing, you have spent a lot. What kind of work will he get that he will recoup the money? That is where you now have to discover yourself that depending on government is a waste. That is as good or better than self-employment. And I can tell you as a private practitioner, it is the best decision I took. And I thank God that I am not into government, because being in government, your income is limited. But being on your own, being self-trained, your income is limitless. As a matter of fact, for you working in the government, there are certain enjoyment you cannot even enjoy. If you have some money, you live a certain lifestyle, you'll be questioned. You drive a certain car, you'll be questioned. Oh, your brother dashed you the car, you must declare. So that is where now you should look as a young person. Is it the kind of life I want to live that I must depend on government? My answer is no. Depend on yourself. Train yourself. Equip yourself. And that is the essence of this program. Economic opportunities and employment. Demographic dividend of our nation can only be realized when the workforce in Nigeria is meaningfully engaged. Nigeria must create an enabling environment for enterprise development, industrial growth, and agricultural modernization. Small and medium enterprises should receive adequate support through access to finance, infrastructure, and regulatory reforms. While you train yourself, government also have a part to play. And that is why these SMEs become important. The government must create the avenue for individuals to tap in through the SMEs. Access to loan, access to training. By the time you get this, it should be sufficient. But again, we have the problem. And in my little life, my small practice, I've also discovered that while government try to make way for us, we also try to make the way for ourselves. For instance, when they give grant loan, almost some interest-free loan by government, you see some people abusing it. They will not pay back. Today, you go to EFCC, a lot of something borrowers, what is it called, from the CBN, are in custody of EFCC there, where they collected money in billions and they refuse to pay back. So if you collect, you don't pay back. I collect, I don't pay back. Mr. C collect, doesn't pay back. How will the government get another money to give to the younger generation like you and I? And that is the problem again we face. That while the government tries sometimes to make life meaningful for us, a lot of our Nigerians, a lot of the citizens try to make life unmeaningful. The rule of law, as a legal practitioner, I must emphasize that demographic transformation cannot occur in absence of rule of law. Investors seek certainty. Entrepreneurs require protection. Citizens demand accountability. Strong institutions, transparent governance, respect for constitutional principles, and effective administration of justice create the environment necessary for sustainable growth. Corruption, insecurity, and weak institutions undermine national development and diminish the prospect of our young population. Strengthening governance structure is therefore essential to unlocking Nigeria's demographic dividend. No society can thrive without rule of law. Where there is no rule of law, the society becomes lawless. And that is why, to harness the demographic dividend, the rule of law becomes imperative. While we talk of SMEs earlier, there are rules that guide the activities of the SMEs. There are rules that guide institutions that gives loan. Anchor borrowers, that is what I was referring to. Anchor borrowers was established by the central bank through the Bank of Industry to grant loan to farmers. And the money is not, it's in billions. And farmers collected the money, some of them went and married 4 wives. And they'll come with the excuse, oh, I planted rice, but there was rain. The rain was too much, so there was erosion, there was this, that. So the rule of law must prevail. When you collect a loan, you must have it in mind that you must pay back. And when you refuse to pay back, then the law will take its course. So we cannot harness the demographic dividends in Nigeria without the rule of law. As young as all of us are in this house, we are all meant to achieve. And nobody's success can hinder your success. That is the truth. Whether you sleep on the same bed, my success does not hinder yours. You open your business here, I open my business here, the business, what belongs to you, your customers will definitely come. So as young people, we must cultivate the habit of, let us start small, and it will grow. The role of private investors, it is a fact that government alone cannot unlock Nigeria's demographic dividend. Private sector has a critical role to play in skill development, innovation, employment creation, mentorship, and investment. Strategic partnerships between government, academia, civil society, and businesses will be necessary to achieve the sustainable outcome. The most successful economies in the world are built on collaborative framework. We have one adage in my place that one hand cannot take a lice from the hair, meaning one hand cannot also wash itself clean. That is where collaboration comes in. As a private person, as a private practitioner, person in private sector, you cannot achieve, you cannot succeed alone. We must learn to collaborate. One of the greatest problems we have in Nigeria is we don't want to collaborate at all. You go to advanced countries, while we are running the same business, we collaborate to enhance efficiency. But in Nigeria, I must do it alone. It's my business. I want to be the CEO. I want to be the MD. When you collaborate, you discover that when you have a shortcoming, your neighbor will lift you up. But here, we don't want that at all. As a legal practitioner, I am bold to say this, that I collaborate with my colleagues, and it makes the work very easy. When I have a case, I call one, I call two, say, Oga, come, let us do it. Whatever comes out of it, let's share. It reduces my headache. I left the office by 12 midnight. I was working till 4 a.m. this morning. While I am on the computer doing my work, my colleague is also doing the other part of the work. So by the time we meet later, we put the work together. Instead of one person doing morning, afternoon, night, on the same. So collaboration. Let us learn to collaborate. Youth inclusion in governance. Young people must not merely be beneficiaries of the policy. They must be participants in policy formulation and implementation. Nigeria's future cannot be designed without the active involvement of these who will inherit it. Greater youth participation in governance, politics, public service, and decision-making processes will enrich our democracy and strengthen our national development. The not too young to run law has taken care of this. Before now, before you can contest for House of Assembly, you must be 30, 35 years. But with the pursuit of the not too young to run bill, which has now become part of our constitution, it has now been constitutionally coagulated. For House of Assembly, at the age of 25, you are free to run. And today you have some members of House of Assembly that are 25 years. You go to Kwara, you see, the Kwara has the youngest House of Assembly member. A lady was elected at the age of 25 in 2023. Another one is already on the ballot because she has won her primaries. So as young people, we must participate in the activities of government. We must be participant in the implementation. We must be participant in the formulation, and we must be participant in policy formulation. Call to action. Ladies and gentlemen, demographics can either become an accident or a disaster, depending on where you place yourself. A youthful population that is educated, healthy, skilled, employed, and empowered become an engine of every economic growth. Conversely, a youth population deprived of opportunities may become a source of social instability and economic strain. While we talk of economic dividend and youth participation, we must also learn that, I take a cue from my friend, Doctor, when he said earlier, most crimes are committed by the youth today. And again, as a practitioner, very experienced, I've discovered that a lot of technological crimes are committed by the younger ones. Someone who just finished from school, he wants to drive the best car. Someone who has been working is managing to drive that, but a fresh graduate, you want to drive a Mercedes car to NYSC camp. And therefore, he must be awake at night to do the work he knows how to do best. And then when the EFCC decide to raid the place, he begins to sing in detention. Some of them, what they have acquired over the time, in a swoop, they hand it over to the EFCC officials just to secure their freedom. And at the end of the day, you become useless. Some taken to prison. At the end of the day, the life becomes ruined. So while we are talking to the youth for participation, we must know that this participation must be positive, because there is negative participation. If your participation is to be awake, to ask someone in Germany to send you money on the guise that you are going to marry him or her, you are participating, but it's negative. If yours is to trail someone's phone number, to get his NIN, to get his BVN, we all know where that is leading you to. It's leading you to get the money one has suffered for over the years. That is negative participation. But what we are doing here today is called positive participation. If you leave this place today without anything, then you have wasted your day. It would have been better you stay at home. Don't come out. For some of us, we participate positively. And I'm happy that I have some of my friends here that when I leave, they will say, he participated negatively or he participated positively. I am bold enough to say, in whatever I do it positively. And I make sure I participate positively. Nigeria possesses the human resources necessary to become one of the world's leading economies in the coming decades. The responsibility rests upon policymakers, institutions, the private sector, civil society, and indeed every Nigerian to create the conditions that will allow our young people to thrive. Let us therefore commit ourselves to building a Nigeria where every child has access to quality education, every young person has the opportunity to develop their talent, every entrepreneur can pursue innovation, and every citizen can contribute meaningfully to national development. If we may make the right choice today, future generations will look back on this period at the moment of Nigeria transform its population advantage into national prosperity. As we deliberate on this all very important theme, let us move beyond discussions and embrace action. The demographic dividend is not a distant aspiration, it is a present opportunity waiting to be unlocked. May we have the wisdom to recognize it, the courage to pursue it, and the commitment to achieve it. Thank you for having me this morning. And thank you again. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And the first day I went to the Learner 6 office in the company of O.C. Ali, and the Learner 6 had a conversation with me. I don't know how it happened, but my first week and gown, he just told me, go to this social place and go and pick your first weekend gown when your result is out. Well, my result came out, and I went to pick it up. So Learner 6, I want to thank you so much. God bless you, sir. We're happy to have you. So briefly, we would want to celebrate one of our speakers. Today is his birthday, and it means a lot to us that he would take time to be with us today. So are we going to sing for him? Are we going to clap for him? Okay, so let's go, please. So who's going to take the lead? So in the person of O.J. Wada, today is his birthday, so can we go? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Thank you so much. I hope you get invited to your lunch or your dinner. So before he comes up, we'll want to do a short profile of the organization. Then he comes up, he concludes on that before he takes his leave. Please, we'll have a very short video to display who we are and what we do.
There are people waiting for hope. A child waiting for... In every community, there are people waiting for hope. A child waiting for opportunity. A family waiting for support. Founded in 2018, Helpers Charitable Foundation has remained committed to transforming lives through compassion, empowerment, and sustainable impact. Through education support, poverty alleviation, zero hunger initiatives, mentorship, and humanitarian outreaches, Helpers Charitable Foundation continues to reach children, young people, the less privileged, and people living with disabilities across Nigeria. With over 6,000 beneficiaries and more than 600 volunteers nationwide, the foundation is building a growing movement driven by service, unity, and compassion. At Helpers Charitable Foundation, we believe every child deserves a voice, every community deserves hope, and together we can build a better future for all.
Nigeria. Basically, our focus is quality education, zero hunger, and poverty alleviation. So to save our time, we're going to our ongoing project. So we have Tech for Rural project that we launched last year. Tech for Rural project is a project with a budget of 500 million. The initiative aims to bring quality education, digital skills to undeserved schools in rural Nigeria. The project will provide laptops, training, tech-based learning hubs, helping students gain the knowledge and confidence they need to build a better future. Over the course of 12 months, the project will reach out to at least 2,000 students and 1,000 teachers across Nigeria, delivering hands-on digital literacy section, building capacity, workshops, and mentorship support. Schools will be equipped with basic technological tools and supported with trained personnel to ensure long-term impact. This is not just about giving laptops to or other tech items to school. It's about giving rural children a chance to compete, to grow, and to become productive members of a tech-driven world. So what are our expected impact? 2,000 youths trained in digital illiteracy, 2,000 laptops distributed, 300 rural schools digitally enabled, 70% of trained youths using technology for learning or economic activity, reduction in youth unemployment in selected areas, increased local innovation and job creations from digitally empowered youth. So basically, this is our ongoing project, and we also want to appeal to our partners, our participants, as well as everybody in this hall to kindly contribute with us, to partner with us, to ensuring that we achieve our Tech for Rural project in Nigeria in the space of 12 months. Having established that, one of the things we wanted to launch today is our mentorship class. Now, why I'm being hurried up about it is because O.J. Wada Esquire plays a pivotal role in the mentorship section that we're about to launch. So, mentorship, how does it work? It's a platform, it's a website, which has been going on our website, Help Us Charitable Foundation. It's real relationships where every mentee is paired with someone who has genuinely been where they want to go to. Case in point, O.J. Wada started from where we are, from where I am, and has gone to this success level that he has achieved, and achieved a whole lot of other things that he has done. So we believe that him coming up and every other person coming up here as a mentor will help us drive the achievements, what we want. So basically, let me just give you a rundown of what it is. We have mentees applying online to be paired with mentors. So we don't pair the mentors to the mentees anyhow. We will pair you in accordance to your area of specialty. So our learner sick, which is here, is in the area of legal practice. My boss also is here. Please, a round of applause for my boss, please. Martin, Barrister Martin, Ojonimi, Atojoko. Please, a round of applause for my boss, please. So, for instance, being that the learner is sick and my boss is in the legal field, we have mentees, young lawyers who want to be and want to excel in this field, apply. So you apply, we match both of you. The algorithm, the AI algorithm will match both of you on the website. Then you go and do your session for 6 months. So it's going to be at the convenience of your mentor. So if the learner 6 said he only has Saturday off, or if my Bob says he only has Friday off, that's the only time you're going to have for the mentorship section. So you have a physical section where you can come to their office, or you can come to anywhere they are, or you can also do the online section. So the page allows you to do live chats. And our team will also monitor this very closely to avoid misuse of the process. So basically, that's the run-up of what we want to do. So by 12 noon today, we're going live. So we'll launch it officially. We'll have the mentors apply, and we'll also have the mentees also apply. Then we match them together. So more information will come out as we go on. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to welcome, please can we have the profile of O.J. Wada on display, please? Okay, so let me just read it manually to save our time.
Wada is a renowned entrepreneur, philanthropist, and the founder of Solohan & Co., Africa's leading legal apparel company, which has clothed over 12,000 lawyers and justices globally. He is also the founder of Solohan Foundation, driving impactful humanitarian initiatives across Africa. Through OJ Wada and Partners, he has built a real estate portfolio valued over $20 million, while the 305 Limited reflects his influence in hospitality and facility management. He also serves on the board of Under 30 CEOs Africa and CEOs Network Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome OJ Wada.
At the point when I heard $20 million, I was like, wow. It's a huge privilege to be here today. I would like to stand on existing protocols. My seniors are here. Please give a round of applause for JJ Usman is here. Yeah, it's been a fantastic friend, senior, a big supporter of the brand. You know, there's this thing he does every year. Once you pass your bar exams, you just go to Solohan. So whatever the number is, he just tells everyone to come. And he's been doing that for over 4 years now, and you can imagine how many lives he has touched from that. You know, he's touching young lawyers, and is also having a huge impact on my business. So thank you very much, sir. It's an honor to be here today. I would like to make my session very, very brief and interactive. So I just want us to discuss, you know, I see a lot of coppers here today. I was one myself in 2015. I did my service in Abuja, and I think it was a very unique time. It was a very unique time. But can anyone just tell me among you today what you think success is? What does success mean to you? Anyone? Would anyone like to define success? What do you think success is? Okay, so the truth of the matter is, let me just define it the way I can understand it. A lot of people feel today that, you know, success has to be what you can see. But the truth of the matter is, success is not really what you can see. Success is defined by your freedom, your impact, your financial stability, you know, rather than titles or governments or jobs. And I feel like the priority of most Nigerian youth today is to be able to earn well and, of course, impact the lives of their family and others. That's it. But there's one thing that has been trending in recent times, and that's the fact that a lot of people believe that they must attain success at a very young age, you know, and just like the NSA was saying, that's what leads a lot of Nigerians into certain acts, you know. I myself, I came from a very humble background. My parents are man and woman of God, so you can imagine. But the truth of the matter is, I understood life as early as I could, you know. I understood the way Nigeria was, and I understood that no one was coming to help me. So I knew that I had to, you know, take it upon myself to be the person I want myself to become, right? So like most of you, you know, I came to Abuja with maybe 150,000 naira, right? But that was a lot of money then. That was like maybe $400 at that time. But the truth of the matter is, I already knew what I wanted. I founded Solohan in 2014, and prior to that, I was already doing business. I was doing lots of business in school. Whatever business you can think of, I was doing it. I was making shoes. I mean, everyone is trending. Shoes are trending now, right? Yeah, I was one of the first guys to start making shoes. So whenever I see people selling shoes, I'm like, this was what I was using to ball when I was in uni.
I was selling shoes. It was called Slimace Couture. But then I founded Solo One in law school, and it came out of, I was about to write my bar finals, and I was like, okay, once I finish my bar finals, where am I going to get my legal outfit from? Then I started searching online, and guess what? There was no company in Africa that had a website that sells wig and gown. There was no company in the world on Facebook that sells wig and gown. There was no company in the world on Instagram that sells wig and gown. So you can imagine. So, I mean, for my business experience, I just knew that, wow, can you imagine? Why is no one doing this? So even the oldest company in the world, which is like 300 years, Eden Rabiscroft, they didn't see the importance of being on Instagram or Facebook. They just ignored it. So I took the opportunity, I went deep down into research, started, and I created the first website, that's soloan.com.ng, where anyone could go to order a wig and gown. I created the first Instagram page that sells wig and gown in the entire world, and likewise the first Facebook page. And I took advantage of the fact that I knew that my environment wasn't going to really help me, but I knew that I had a lot of opportunities as long as my presence on the internet was solid. So I took advantage of that, and I feel like most of you feel that you need to have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money before I started Solo One. Like, I think I started Solo One with less than 600,000. I was very small then, but by the grace of God, we've done billions in revenue. So you can imagine, starting from 600,000. In fact, one of the monies I used to start my company was a grant from Kogi State. Kogi State would give every law student, I think, 200,000 when you're going to law school. So that was part of the money. I sold my MacBook. I mean, I was already doing business in school, so I was able to afford a MacBook. So yeah, that was how I started Solo One, and here I am today. I know a lot of people would think, oh, this guy probably came from wealth, I hustled, I was able to combine Solo One at a point with my degree as a lawyer, because living in Abuja, I was like, okay, fine, how do I mean, the company was already doing well, we were doing like 1,000, 2,000 sales per annum. It was good, but at the same time, I was a lawyer, so I was like, oh, what do I do? Then I found other means of, getting extra cash, and I started company registrations. This was as far back as 2015, 16. I was registering companies, and it was so, because the law firm I was in, at that time, the pay was okay, but the truth was, if I could register 8 companies in a month, and I had the markup of like 30 to 40,000. In fact, there were some months I would make 400,000 from company registrations, and that was really impressive. So I just started registering companies. I was registering companies. I think I must have registered over 400 companies, but I stopped that in 2017. But trust me, I'm someone that I like to see opportunities, and because I don't want to be involved, or I don't want to engage in whatever the youths of nowadays get involved in, I try my best to see the opportunity in everything. There's nothing that I don't see an opportunity in. I believe that was one of the things I could discover at a very early stage. I knew my talent, I knew my gift, and I'm very hardworking. So the truth of the matter is, you don't need money to start, Yeah, I know we're here to talk about unlocking opportunities, Nigeria's opportunities within the demographic, but you're a youth, I'm a youth myself, and I'm here to tell you today that you actually don't need money to start anything. You have a phone, you have a mobile phone, you have internet. A lot of people have. That's why when someone sends me a message on Instagram asking me for money randomly, I'm like, how did you subscribe? Okay, you have money to subscribe, but you're out there billing when you can be involved in other important things, And there's so many opportunities out there on the internet with AI. You can literally set up a company from beginning to the end. Now, when I started Solo One, it was tough. There was no WhatsApp, business then. There was no DMs. You could only post pictures. There was no reels. You guys are living in a fantastic era. There was no location. To get my clients then, there was an app called Insta Message. That was the only place you could chat. I would download Insta Message. I would have to go to each law school on the location and look for all the lawyers there and start adding them one after the other. Do you know how stressful that is? So I'll go to Abuja campus, I'll go to Lagos campus, I'll look for all the lawyers, add them up, and hope that they add me back. Or maybe send each of them a message. So there was literally no hashtags. But now you guys have a fantastic, social media platform like Instagram. You have AIs like ChatGPT, Gemini. Come on, I don't see a reason why any of you shouldn't be succeeding right now, to be very honest. Or if there's a reason, you can ask me, I don't know. Anyone wants to ask me? Why? Is it funding? Lack of what? Sufficient? Update? You have AI. You understand? The truth is, as long as you have your two hands and you have your two legs, there's literally, if anything happens to me today and I hit rock bottom, trust me, I'll make it back up again. I'm that confident. What would it cost me? I can go and learn tailoring. I have to survive. I can learn a craft. I can do anything. Learn a skill, because everything is online now. So in those days, you would probably need someone to mentor you, tutor you, take you through the entire process. But now someone can literally, like the companies that are coming up, a lot of companies have been coming up after mine. But it's very simple. I've already set a precedence. It's just to copy my model and reprogram it. Do you understand? And you can do that to any business. Personally, I feel like there's no sector I want to go into today that I cannot recopy their model. Like, I'll just look at you, oh, this is what you're doing, this is how. And ChatGPT will even give you different ways of how to go about it. But it's all about, do you have what it takes? Are you willing to work hard for what you think you want? How hard are you willing to work for it? A lot of people are not willing to work hard today. People just want quick money. You see someone driving a flashy car and you think, oh, this person probably just, no, not everyone steals, to be honest. Some people are very diligent and very hardworking. I've never stolen in my life. I'm a very straightforward person. I'm a businessman. And trust me, it's not like I go to where I am with political connections. I've never done a government contract. Right? But the truth of the matter is, a lot of people just believe that, oh, Nigeria has failed me, the system does not work, you need connections. No, you need grace. That's if you're a Christian or a Muslim. As long as you're hardworking and you have that grace, you understand, you would meet people and people will just fall in love with you and people will be ready to support you and help you out in whatever business you're in. But the problem is a lot of people nowadays, they don't even have a business attached to their name. You don't want to learn photography because you think it's, when I started solo and some of my colleagues were calling me Taylor. Do you understand? But since I started the company, every year I buy 3 properties. Where are those people today? You understand? So don't think about what people, oh, they'll say I'm a photographer, oh, they'll say I'm a shoemaker. Who cares about that? Do you want to succeed or not? Do you want to take your family out of poverty? Do you want to be the one to change your generation? Do you want to be the one to create generational wealth? Forget about whatever is happening around the country. They're just distractions. Yes, the country is unsafe, doing business is hard, it's tough, but trust me, as long as you have access to a phone and you have internet, there are so many opportunities. I see them every single day. But my hands are full. I cannot own 100 businesses. But I'm like, this is nice. Someone can do this. It's all about starting small and growing. What you're seeing now is a product of 10 years. It took me 10 years to get to this stage. So I really don't know, what's stopping you or what's holding you back. Well, I'm here to tell you today that whatever you think is holding you back from getting to your fullest potential or whatever is just, it's just you being scared. Take action. You can start by opening an Instagram page today for whatever business you feel. I mean, that's the first step. Just take action. Step one. And then see where it ends. So thank you so much for the birthday song. I really appreciate, Thompson invited me and I was like, oh, it's my birthday. I don't know if I'll be able to make it. It was like, oh, you need to be here. And I was like, I definitely need to be here. So thank you so much, guys. If there's any question, you can send them to me. Okay. Yes. Any question? All right.
Okay, thank you so much. And your session was really impactful.
Thank you.
My question is this. From your session, I observed that you have a lot of skills.
Yes.
Like from the web, the sales, everything. You're just like a basket of skills.
Yeah.
So there's this saying that skillful people are distracted.
Yeah.
They really don't know how to focus on all that.
Yeah.
So how have you been able to channel that into your success?
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like the most important way of discovering that is self-discovery. A lot of people have a lot of skills, but it's not all your skills that can make you money. So that's why you need to actually discover yourself and know what works best for you. What do you like? What are your interests? What keeps you up at night? If you're able to turn your skill into a job or into a business, it makes you money. That's just it. But it's all about self-discovery. You need to ask yourself that question. What do I really like? Okay, do I like, am I creative? Do I even like the internet? Do I even like social media? Those are the things that should define whatever your skill is. And from that, you'll be able to discover yourself and know that, okay, these are the things I like, these are the things I don't. You'll probably try a lot of things, random things. I've tried so many things. In fact, when I was in uni, I thought I could become a comedian, right? Well, that's the truth. You just keep trying different things until one day you figure out that, wow, I think this one actually works. And you stick with it. That's it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Let me just take one from the lady, and that's it, yeah.
Thank you so much for your session.
Thank you.
You've talked a lot about intrinsic factors with becoming an entrepreneur.
Yes.
How do you navigate the extrinsic factors, those things that are outside your purview? And then I also want to ask, have you had to get formal certification to boost your skills? Because you seem like a natural with this thing. So have you gotten further certification from formal sectors, business certifications and all? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I feel like certifications are very important, very, very important. I mean, I've gone back to school since then. I've done a few, degrees, but I also believe in, learning. So I take a lot of courses on Coursera, Udemy, and all of that, just to boost my skill and be conversant with the global trends, because it's very important. These days, I feel somehow whenever I'm on TikTok, I'm getting older. I can't be keeping up with all the apps coming out, but I just have to be on TikTok because I need to know what's going on. I need to know what my customers are thinking of. I need to know how to see life. So learning about how the world is moving and the global trends is very, very important. If not, you're just going to be left behind. We're just going to look like our parents when Facebook came out and they were like, oh, what are you guys doing? And then they jumped on board 10 to 15 years after. So, I think the other question was what? I didn't get it. How to okay. Navigation. I feel like mentorship works a lot. You need to have people that you can talk to, right? People that have been there. It's easier when you meet people that are in your line of business or people that have gone through whatever you're going through right now. It's very easy. And learn to communicate, learn to network, learn to meet people. It helps a lot. Like I said, I met Mr. JJ Usman, I think about 5 or 6 years ago, but since then, he has turned into not just a mentor, a big brother, right? He's always there for me, and that's how it is. That's how it is. I met him through business, but here he is today. He has supported my business, and that's how life is. So imagine you had 100 people like him in your life around you. You would not be able to. There's nothing that you will not be able to navigate through, right? So don't be shy when you go out, like this kind of setting now. I know a lot of people just looking at themselves. Most people will leave here without getting a number. They'll just be like, oh, I'm done. But you don't know who's going to help you. I made most of my money starting life from my friends, because those are actually the first set of people that will believe in you. It might be very hard to convince them, but trust me, they will just trust you and just say, okay, I've known this guy for what, 5 years, 2 years. Let me give him a try. And from there, you just see that you start growing, right? So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uji Wada Esquire, CEO of Soloan and Co. We're most grateful, and like he said, on mentorship. So, sir, I hope you are coming on board as one of our mentors, please. So, at this point, I want to call Barrister Martins Atojoko, my boss and my leader, to please present an award, a humanitarian award to OJ Wada for his participation in this program, please. Sir? And you can also use the opportunity to.
Someone do foundation, really.
Help us,
Okay.
Help us, Charitable Foundation.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, standing on the existing protocol, well, for me, it's a privilege and a surprise to be given this honor to present this award. Yeah. I'm meeting Uje for the first time, and from the little I've heard from him, shows that the potentials are there for him to grow further than this. And I encourage each and everyone seated here to learn one or two things from what he has said today. I think that will make him more proud, having spent time to have this communication with everyone seated here. Without taking much of your time, I present this token on behalf of the Helpers Charitable Foundation for your contribution to humanities and development of younger people. They keep on the flag. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, the Helpers Foundation. Like you said, I want to see you guys joining that website, right? Let's get talking. Let's keep going. You know, if there's anything, you can always ask through Thompson or from the website. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, up next we want to have Dr. Khadija. However, DJ Usman STN has pleaded that he should just want to take 2 questions, then he will go off. So please, if you have questions for our Lenel Sikh, I know Monica is already raising her hands and everything, so we'll take it off for me. And please, Lenel Sikh, your turn, please.
May I humbly apologize to you, Doctor? I'm sorry. I have a engagement somewhere by 12, and after that, I think I have a flight to catch to Lagos and return back to Abuja today again. So please, my sincere apologies. I don't think there's any question because nobody is raising. Oh, Monica. Okay.
Thank you so much for your session, sir. It was quite insightful to awakening in us that mentality of not being overly dependent on the government. However, I want to say that, this is leading me to my question. I want to say that for many people, we try to fix the system, but the system finds new ways every day to frustrate our efforts. I do not know if this is the view of a lot of people, but this is my personal view. In terms of taxes, the rates are off with the evolution of our tax system now. And many other things like insecurity. People try to be innovative with business, but at the end of the day, find out that they cannot commit from one place to another because roads are bad, because we do not have infrastructure enough to help us. So this again goes to the fact that when we take that step as individuals to go beyond yes, a question, how do we then navigate those things that are outside of us the things that the government have to do, that they are not doing, that have affected our evolution as who have to make a living for ourselves. How do we get to beat the system, since the system is trying to beat us? That's just simply one thing that has come to my thoughts, and I want to ask them. How do we beat the system that wants to beat us?
Monica, thank you very much. Fortunately, Monica is my friend. So whatever I say, whether it's a lie or it's the truth, she's in a position to decipher. You said, you made a statement that they try to beat the system beat you. You make an attempt to move from one point to the other, but there are bad rules that. Now, as a human being, I bring my religion and religious belief into my practice. And there's that portion of my holy book that said that since the time of John the Baptist, the kingdom of heaven has been suffering violence. So only the violent take it by force. So I take it by force when it comes to anything I want to do. And I give you a classic example. Out of the 36 states in Nigeria, I think there are only 3 states that have not practiced as a lawyer, that have not appeared as a lawyer. I think only 3 states. For the remaining 33 states and FCT, have appeared in various courts. I've driven on Nigerian roads. So when you talk of Nigerian roads, I'm in the best position to tell you whether it is an encumbrance to your success or not. I've driven from here to Maiduguri. I've driven from here to Port Harcourt, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Yobe, Gombe, Sokoto, Kebbi. So there is nowhere. So when you have a bad road and you need to achieve an aim somewhere, bad road cannot be an impediment to my success. Currently, I have a case in Damaturu and there is no flight to Damaturu. How will I go there? If I must get there, if I must get what I want to get there, then I must go by road. So while the system, you try to beat the system and the system try to beat you, develop a new antics to it. And that's my simple answer. That as I am, I don't believe that the system can beat me if I am determined to achieve my target. I don't know whether I answer you. It is a case of clear laziness for me to tell you that I did not succeed because the system is beating me. Like I told you earlier, I left my office at about 12 midnight. I worked till 4 a.m. I slept and woke up by 6, 7, and I'm up. And I won't sleep again till another 12 midnight. So that is a man that is determined to succeed. If you are determined to succeed, you definitely find a way to succeed, irrespective of how the system works. That is my opinion. It's personal to me and it works for me. Monica, so have I answered? Thank you very much. Any other question? Please. Okay.
I'm one of your mentors.
Yes, you are one of my mentors. Go ahead.
Your students, actually. And Mr. Thompson spoke about him getting in his week and now. I'm also one of the beneficiaries of that.
Is that so?
That's in 2022.
Thank you very much.
You deserve, in fact, I'm sorry, I need you guys to give him a standing ovation, please.
Thank you.
He's a good man.
Thank you very much. I thank all of you.
So, I actually don't have a question. I just want to do this.
Ajoke, thank you very much. I appreciate the accolades. Actually, she's one of my mentors. Okay. Thank you once again. Doctor, accept my apologies once again.
So I believe that will be all the questions for now, and I would want to call Dr. Mrs. Ahmed Sanusi to please present this award, the humanitarian award to JJ Usman SAN. The reason why I'm calling her is because her husband, which is one of our guests, said he's a very good friend of yours, and I believe this will mean a lot to him. Thank you so
much. So, it's such an honor to be standing in the shoes of my husband, Dr. Sanusi Jejeola, to present this to our friend. He's a family friend.
Not just a family friend, this is my client.
So, it's such an honor. It's just to say the young shall grow. So, that I'm doing this now, it shows I'm a good wife. So,
I can attest to that.
So, from Elper's Charitable Foundation Global Impact, I'd like to present this award to Amiable JJ Usman, Humanitarian Award in recognition of your exceptional humanitarian service. Thank you so much.
Well, for purpose of clarity, Doctor is my sister, and I met her through the husband, who is my friend and my client, and they both became my clients. But we don't relate in that way. She's a sister in whom I'm well pleased, and I'm happy to have you this morning. So, my regard to your husband, my friend. God bless you. I want to sincerely thank the foundation for the awards and publicly undertake that I shall be part of your future programs. I also avail myself, if needed, as a mentor. God bless you.
So before Sam goes, I would like to say one of my siblings is a lawyer, so me too, I will need my gown.
You're not the one who is a lawyer. Your sibling is a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer by association.
Okay. I just hope they don't bundle you out of this place and take you to where you have where you have no idea of. Thank you very much. Thank you, our keynote. That was a well-deserved award of recognition for your excellence, charity, and contribution to humanity. Please, are we getting value for our time here? I said at the beginning of the summit that we're here to unlearn, learn, and relearn. And so far, from the three keynote speakers we've had, it's all pointing to one direction: incentives and agency. Incentives and agency. When Monica asked the question, it became more glaring, because incentives shapes behavioral patterns. How we respond to structure, how we respond to incentives are one of the reasons why entrepreneurs in Nigeria are not succeeding. But what will we do? That is why we have summits like this, to help us, get encouraged, get inspired, go back to the drawing board, re-strategize, and get your A game back. So a round of applause for JJ Usman San. At the beginning of the summit, we agreed it was going to be highly interactive. You clap when I say you should clap. You shout when I say you should shout. You go whoo, or you go clock it when I say you should, right? So please, a round of applause for JJ Usman San.
I have to say something. One of the things I've discovered in life is, if you have not tried something before, you will not value those people succeeding in that field. Personally, I've tried opening a charitable foundation before. And when I posted it online, this is where you have to understand the value of good friends, right? Immediately I posted it, the first comment I got, one of my friends just commented, "You will need help." So, now, obviously, I got my first...
Helpers Foundation.
Yes, I got my first contribution. We used it to do sub, and that was it. So, please.
Please, a round of applause for the organizer and visionary of the Helpers Charitable Foundation. It's not easy. without further ado, I'll be inviting Dr. Khadija. But before we do that, I want us to do something that they do in the AMVCAs and in other events. So bring out your cell phones. We're about to take a selfie, and we're going to be posting it across all social media. You're going to collaborate with the foundation's page. They're going to let you in, and we would like to hear your feedbacks, your take home, what you heard, what stood out for you, and way forward from today. It's not just here, but what happens after here. So bring out your cell phones, please, everybody. Thank you. Please be responsive. We had an agreement.
Bring out your phone.
Bring out your phones. Let's take a selfie.
Let's go selfie mode.
Quick.
Clock
We
it.
just have 1 minute for
Where
that.
my ladies, bring out your phone.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
So take a selfie. Bring out your phones.
We are outside. Say we are outside.
I want to believe that the Helpers Charitable Foundations have pages across all social media platforms. So just collaborate with them. Are you taking selfies already? Please, are we taking selfies? Let's see the phones in the air.
Yes, do POV. I went for a leadership and entrepreneurship summit, POV.
Yeah, thank you. And nobody wants to put MC. Well, yeah, thank you very much. So do well to collaborate with us, and we will be there to accept your collab. So right now, without further ado, let us have Dr. Khadija take it up from here. A round of applause for her, please.
A round of applause.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's probably afternoon by now. Thank you for staying with me. First off, I want to thank the Helpers Charitable Foundation for the invitation to speak. It's genuinely an honor to be here and to see so many people dressed in the NYSC kit, as I do remember my time in the NYSC, just like you lot. So, thank you very much for bringing some laughter into the room. So my topic today is on ICT-driven transformation in governance and leadership. And honestly, I could stand here and give a very typical talk about AI, about digital disruption, and the future of technology. But I want to take a slightly different approach. Instead, I want to tell you a story about change, about ambition, about uncertainty. Thank you. About reinvention and what I've learned navigating technology, leadership, and impact in a rapidly changing world. I think the best conversations often are the ones where someone simply shares honestly what they've seen, what they've learned, and what they're still figuring out. So today I simply want to share my story, and perhaps you will take whatever is useful to you from that journey. Interestingly, as I prepared for this talk, I realized I'm actually in the middle of a major transition myself. Right now, I'm navigating a career pivot. For the past several years, my life has been deeply rooted in research and academia, but I'm currently moving into consulting and broader governance and policy work. It's exciting, but sometimes it's uncomfortable. And it's uncertain sometimes, but it made me realize something. My life has actually been a series of pivots, and maybe many of our lives would increasingly become that too. So taking it back to when I finished undergrad, graduating with a first class in computer science, at the time I thought that has to be the goal, what's next? Then I wanted more and went for a master's with a distinction as well. At that point I was like, okay, this is the destination, what next? But I still wanted more. Not necessarily more titles or more accolades, just for the sake of prestige, but more understanding, more impact, and more meaning. So I returned to teach computer science at university level. And I genuinely enjoyed it, impacting people, explaining ideas, watching people understand difficult concepts. But over time, something started bothering me. I realized that technical knowledge is not enough. It's just never enough when it's alone. Because even while technology was advancing rapidly, people were still being left behind by the systems that you see these days. And that stayed with me. So once again, I wanted more, and that was what pushed me to do a PhD. And honestly, there were moments of doubt in that decision. Moments where people indirectly make you feel that maybe you should settle, maybe you should be comfortable with less. And as a woman, sometimes society subtly teaches you that ambition should have limits. Almost like, how dare a woman want more? But I kept going anyway. And eventually, that PhD in human-computer interaction would change how I thought about technology, leadership, and impact. As I came toward the end of the PhD, I found myself facing a question that I had not expected, which is what comes next? For years, the path that I had was relatively clear. Study computer science, do a master's, teach, do a PhD, teach, obviously. But there was always another milestone ahead. And suddenly I found myself standing at a crossroads. Do I stay in academia? Do I continue doing research? Do I move into consulting? And do I try to influence these systems directly from the top, that is from policy? And for the first time in a long while, I did not have a clear answer. But what surprised me was that a lot of people around me were asking similar questions. Not necessarily the same questions, but questions around uncertainty, people changing careers, people moving countries, and people rethinking industries. At the same time, other people were discovering the path that they expected no longer exists in quite the same way. And the more I reflected on it, the more I realized that the world many of us are entering is very different from previous generations. If you look at our parents, for example, for many of them, the expectation was relatively simple. One career, one employer, one path, work hard, build stability, and maybe even retire with a pension. Maybe have one professional identity for life. As an instance, my father was a banker for about 30 years. So you can imagine, how often do we see those kind of situations these days? Today, that certainty is becoming much harder to find. Look at what many young Nigerians are currently facing. A generation that's done everything you've been told to do, yet you often find that a degree alone no longer guarantees that you're going to get the opportunities. A generation that's constantly weighing where opportunities lie and whether their future is here or somewhere else in another country. And this isn't only happening in Nigeria. As one of the previous speakers mentioned, even bigger companies like Meta, for example, global companies are laying off people. It's crazy. So roles that once felt secure are disappearing. Entire career paths are being reshaped in real time by technology. So the question is not what, it's already here. The question
gap? How do we easily get opportunities and funding? Because it always looks like there's a ceiling where we can't cross and all that. So how do we bridge that gap? Except mostly funding is majorly by connection, but how do a normal Gen Z break that ceiling? So, question. Thank you.
Have an award for you to say thank you. So I have to call, first apologize to Dr. Ames.
I'm living.
Are you ready? 10, 9, like
And in a matter of a few minutes from now, we will be leaving here. And now that we're live, you can just sign up to be mentored. There is nothing as valid and important as mentorship. As young people, we should not displace mentorship. It's very important. We should take cognizance of the place of mentorship. So I'll be reading the citation for the next speaker. Dr. Alhaji Teslim Sanusi Abiodun is a distinguished entrepreneur, real estate investor, has pioneered innovative investment structures that provide opportunity and their that's comes in the capacity of a woman. I don't claim in my gender. Please,
little children already in real estate. So it's really, it cut across, it's for everyone, real estate.
Founded in 2018, Helpers Charitable Foundation has remained committed to transforming lives through compassion, empowerment, and sustainable impact. Through education support, poverty alleviation, zero hunger initiatives, mentorship, and humanitarian outreaches, Helpers Charitable Foundation continues to reach children, young people, the less privileged, and people living with disabilities across Nigeria. With over
sanctuary residents. He has empowered individuals and families to achieve home ownership and build.
Years nationwide, the foundation is building a growing movement driven by service, unity, and compassion. At Helpers Charitable Foundation, we believe every child deserves a voice, every community deserves hope, and together we can build a better future for all. In every community, there are people waiting for hope, a child waiting for opportunity, a family waiting for support. Founded in 2018, Helpers Charitable Passion, empowerment,
And you see, at the point of my life, when I was in when I grew up, when I grew up, I wanted to do one thing and do it, and you know. And some of us here, might all, as people some of us here might be called, as people who would own businesses and have to employ people and skill. We have different callings. Whatever your calling is, you express that. So I know where you currently are. Sometimes I think that's one of the major problems we have. We overthink our situations, we overthink our life, we overthink everything. You might even have a job right now, you're overthinking like, am I even going to be able to do it? You just have to break it. Now, what does it mean now to start and have a direction or when? Something has to inspire you every day of your life. What inspires you? What do you truly want for yourself? What do you truly want? What drives you? What do you really wish for yourself? Some of them has to drive you. Every day of my life, some of my guys have a better life for my family, have a better life for myself. Travel, have nice cars, have nice cars. Those are the guys. Those are the things that drive me. In my business field, I have no I am a teacher. Before you go, I don't know any politician. Maybe you introduce me to our classes, but you know one. Somebody that has been doing everything I've done in real estate is building so much capacity. I started real estate in 2017 and 2018. And then I was also talking about from one trying to learn as much as I could. And in anything we will do, like my story, I want you to be. One of the things that I want you to do is to build skills. I want to talk about skills, I'm not just saying my language. Go and be no. I'm talking about learning skills that are personal to you. Skills like selling, skills like presenting, skills like communicating. I started with one person time, the straight line by Jordan Belfort. I mean, maybe I've ever seen that before. Okay, please try to for the straight line by Jordan Belfort. And it teaches you all about things. It teaches you, in fact, very basic things that get you anything. In fact, I got my first job by just acting myself. I didn't know it was just from the course I learned how to dress, present yourself. I didn't have to shake and when I go to the guy, I just had to shake his hand and I was just and that was the first thing that showed me to. These are very different things. It was the time when I started this stuff. And I went down the client and just started college to buy land. And we went to, I thought it was very lot. We went to, what's it called? A restaurant. And he bought rice and chicken. He bought for me also. I mean, yes, it's food, it's chicken. I ate my rice, but I didn't eat my chicken. Why? Because I'm used to taking it and I'm writing. And I couldn't use it for my life. But if you could use it, don't let me embarrass myself. You don't let me fuck. I'll take it up. But guess what? I went to my own chicken and I learned how to use it for my life. And I learned how to work as well. I learned how to do many things. These are things you can learn. Very simple things that will change your life. These are very simple things that will make you become a better person. That before you know, you start striving for more even before you went back. Right? You need to invest in yourself, you need to become a better version. If there is anything that can practice identity, it is how to sell. One thing I learned from that course, and not just that course, so many things, is how to sell. Whenever you find yourself, even if you are looking for a job, it's sales. Trust me, it is sales. I've employed people that are very confident and have nothing to offer. They're able to sell, but they do not have value. Yes. So you imagine you have value and you can sell yourself. You can get anything you want in your life. God forbid that it's wrong, I can pick up myself anytime. Why? Because I know All I just need to do is to do what? Sell. Anytime I need anything, I can sell. Anytime I need. And that's one of the reasons why I was able to build capacity in investment. In my company today, we train over 30,000 people for free. And I'm talking about people who are able to sell billions of naira. And even getting on photos was not just because of real estate. It was not just because of numbers, it was because of major impact. It wasn't just, oh, we've done numbers or we've done this and that. No, it was more the people, the results, and these people could see and say. So if there is any skill of advice to next week, is the skill of what? Selling. Knowing how to sell yourself, knowing how to sell your business, knowing how to sell what is in your hand. And building capacity around it constantly. You need to start from where you are. From there, build action water. I've been there before where I was confused and oh, what am I going to do? To hear what you say, what would be my life because I wanted to be. Yes. I want to be elsewhere here. I wanted to get my elsewhere here. I wanted to be elsewhere here. I'm running my business. That is why I'm running my business. I'm chasing after my goals because that is what I want to be. Right? So what will you be is not a valid thing. What will be according to what you want to be. It is you. You are the one in charge. You are the chief executive officer. You're like, if one thing you want to move in this direction. Well, some of your parents. I think maybe one of my major drives in my life was not really having anybody to do that. I mean, I never really liked no life. So I was never really to write with it. You know, at the end of the year, we go to family house and we have cousins coming with their results, and they're like, oh, this one is first, this one is second. Guess what I did first? I don't know the class of me like 149, 130. I swear, I don't know both, but I really like them. I think that's because this work, I guess it's one thing. Yes. And the same time, this is going to make sense. I'm going to start doing that one time. And I took second class. Yeah. I took second class. She made sure I read it book. I read it. So, and that's, I think those things formed a lot in my head. Anything you want to, like, you can actually get it. Any way you want to be, you can actually do it. Since 2021, I've always wanted to have projects in Abuja. I only just started a project in Abuja like this. What's since 2021? I started development in real estate development in 2020. I already was 6 months ago. And I said, you know, I'm living there for nothing. But I knew that my life depended on what I do. If I don't get out of opportunities, so guys, start from where you are. Build up from where you are. Pick up yourself. You need to be positive. Yes, Nigeria can take this direction. I think I had a question they asked what happens when the country always do that. Trust me, the country always do that direction. Why your life is, you know. I mean, I did a project one time when Dollar was like 400, 600, and all of a sudden in the process, right? Dollar went to 1,000. In the process, dollar went to 1,900. I was just, but you still have to get yourself out. Today, even as much money as myself, and I'm still like trying to pursue more and pursue and pursue. My wife is like, what's your friend? Like, I'm doing something. But I'm like, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm pursuing. You have to text in before I do. And we go back to the feeling clothes, right? And trust me, this project, when I contracted off friend and like, I don't know, this is $20 million project. Like, regular one. But guess what? What we do is, and I guess what that's how we've always done many projects. Yes. By just building capacity, just building sales, and just trying to try because if nobody's really coming to the other. Nobody knows. They're trying to help themselves. And you have other people, maybe they have a foundation or whatever. But like so many people are already trying to help a lot of people. So imagine now bringing your own into the picture. Running. That's you have family to read out ghosting. It doesn't like any ghosting intentionally. But come on, they're really trying to see with their words. So if there is one thing I want to do from here is pick yourself from where you currently are. If you have a job, pick yourself from where you currently are and skill. You don't have a job, pick yourself from where you currently are and skill. You have a business, pick up yourself from where you currently are and skill. There is no excuse, and trust me, there is room, excellent room, so much. Even with, well, the truth is, at the end of the day, people will help you because you need people, right? I'm not the self-made, people-made. A lot of people have trusted me with their money, not because what I was selling to them at that time was good. I was just doing, I just, even if anything happens, I know you. And just that's our abuse over here. And they have not problems. We've lost billions of naira, we've lost properties, we've lost billions. Even in Abuja, the 20th of March, I bought some land that long is. But you know, we keep going, we keep scaling, we keep striving. So wherever you find yourself currently, pick up yourself. I don't sound like motivational speaker. But I'm being, guys, I'm telling you for a fact. If you pick up yourself, put yourself wherever you want yourself to be. And it's not about that. I've been to more than 50 countries. I love it. But guess what? This place, Nigeria, is still where you find the most opportunities. It's where you find the most market. Don't you think about when you find global guys or white guys or Americans coming to invest in Nigeria? It is because they support, it's not because they like us. They don't like you. If you go to them, I mean, all of them are trying to get you out. Many people in the US, right? I mean, all of these ones are trying to get you out of their countries already. So it's not like they like you, that's why they come to you. No, it is because they see opportunities. So you need to open up your eyes, open up your mind, be positive, and pursue that opportunity. Things will always go sideways, but be positive at all times. Be positive at all times. And it goes beyond just trying to say, okay, I'm positive. You know, black people speak it into reality. How many people have felt anything sometimes, and you say to yourself, oh, I don't have it, and you did not have it. And how many times also have you felt sick and weak, and you actually say, oh, I feel weak, and you actually start feeling weak, and before you know, that malaria just comes. And it's not you don't. So speak whatever you want into existence. Yes, Nigeria is going this way. Speak into existence and keep doing work. Thank you so much, guys. So I'm going to take a few questions. After the question, I usually call you AOI because when the phone setting, I don't want to do the phone away. So, few questions, please, for AOI. Few questions, and after that, then I'll have please. Keep it simple. when you had your, thank you so much for your session. I was really listening. When you had your biggest loss, how did you react to it? How did you bounce back? Like practical steps, how you came out of it? Your biggest loss. My wife is the one that I'm already because I mean she has witnessed more already. So I don't think there is a thing that like biggest loss because almost loss like right, always minus. I mean even your accounts, when it's secret, it's simple doing sometimes it's more. You get it? And probably when you start worrying about it, it's not saying it was minus. Now, some of my biggest losses in my business, I say, just like, okay, hold on. Aside my business, let me talk about the crypto part. The crypto part, was it last year? I mean, I've always been someone who loves cryptocurrency. And last year, even since like 2022, I've always been introduced to cryptocurrency. But last year wasn't it. You know, the time where we had so much more and Bitcoins and truck was coming in and Bitcoin was moving up. I was buying a lot of Bitcoin, and then I had a lot of my friends also, buy. I was buying a lot. And trust me, with about like $100,000, we traded over, I traded over $3 million. Yes. But guess what? Everything vanished. I swear. But guess what? When it vanished, I just told my share, I said, oh, fuck, okay, give me all that. Kind of interesting. So even in my business, like there are a lot. In fact, every day I expect about this. But like it's just always in the back of my mind that we make lose. So whatever it is, we just have to keep going. So the way I would say I do with losses is to be more patient, and I don't. I know I lost one. I will pursue after 5. Right? 4 years we lost the room. Now we're doing what? Trying to improve by doing a lot more projects. And even Nigeria itself put in that situation where you have to be doing more to actually scale up tools. Because you're reaching for a public one, right? I mean, how much was the dollar? How much was the dollar? So the value of the credit will make you, and you won't even realize it until you talk about it. And you're like, and like this. So, what I do with losses is by seeing it as loss is a normal part of business. And when loss is there, you move on to doing so much. And you also try to correct it. Thank you so much. I'm most grateful for coming up with us because some of you want. Okay, so we have an executive limit, so we have questions. So sorry. Well, if you want to be made up by thank you so much. So for whatever you want to know from us, trust me, we'll check the product and make it clear. So let me take you back to that we met actually to speak. There was a long classroom, you might have had like you got an idea for impact, and I was like, where are you from? And you were like, faculty of law, so you've been in the Canada, you've been in the French, for which I'm not thinking about 200 responsibility for the project of the almost estimated. So I think so. So I believe I want to present so on behalf of Global Charitable Foundation, we want to present humanitarian award to Mr. Ayobami. So want to present the award to Mr. Ayobami, CEO of Ace Real Estate. Thank you so much for our
you very much. And my apologies for mispronouncing your name, Minister Ayobabi. We're going on to the next on our item right now, and I will be calling on the stage the next speaker. Abdul Karim Musa Esquire is a distinguished legal practitioner, public affairs analyst, and principal partner of AK Musa and International Expertise in Litigation, Human Rights and Institutional Development, Trade Policy Association. He has built a reputation for excellence and advocacy, and governance reform, holding an LLM in law, environment, and natural resources law. Abdul Karim is also a published scholar and passionate advocate for transparent, people-centered governance across Africa. I'd like to pay our acknowledgement that we're going to be out here in a matter of minutes, so please, all of that are welcome, especially look forward to having all settled. Thank you. So please let me welcome Abdul Karim Musa.
Very long shows that were all exhausted, but beyond that, I'm also very sure that we learned a lot from all the very resource people that have come. So I wasn't listening much, and I'm not going to be speaking to because I prefer I was actually called upon to talk on the topic of how leadership and talking accountability. Because they only don't demand that I'm not going to be saying too much. And I'm not necessarily sticking to the topic that I'd like to talking about media and the power of media in shaping leadership in Nigeria. I like to say that, among the senses that human beings have, we have the sense to see, feel, talk, taste, and all that. When somebody touches you, you cannot refuse to feel being taught. When somebody is saying something just like I'm saying now, you cannot refuse to hear it. You cannot refuse to see what is before you leave your eyes are open. But the only one thing you can refuse to do is to refuse to talk. And then, ironically, that one thing that you have the capacity to refuse to do is the thing that human beings clamor for the most. Human beings clamor for the expression the most. That's why for Jefferson, the Declaration of Independence, on the former president of the United States of America, who has said that we hold this all men are born equal and that certain rights have been allocated to all men by the Almighty God. And among those rights, it is the right to liberty, the right to life, and the right to watching market. And the pursuit of happiness, in my definition, is the pursuit of expression. Human beings are beings basically seeking expression. I don't like to get distracted, but what I quickly want to highlight is the power of the media in shaping leadership and accountability. And so, first of all, understand that human beings essentially a being seeking expression, so that from all the senses, you respond to everything from what you feel, what you hear, what you see. But the only thing that you can decide not to do, the thing that you are seeking to do, human beings are seeking expression at every occasion. And when I talk about expression, it might just be by asserting themselves, by making their position known. If you remember the state of nature, of this present, state of nature as a state where men were against women. Before we had anything like an organized people or a government, we're in a state of nature. When if somebody was more powerful than you, you collect the food. If somebody was more powerful than you can collect your wife and sit it from today, this person is no longer your wife, now my wife. So because the expressive nature of man will not allow for that kind of chaos. Men came together to form a government. And in informing the government, they submitted their right to one person, so that in turn that person can guarantee their right to expression. And so over the years, there has been an evolution of the means by which men can express themselves. There was a time that the only thing men had to express themselves was just to be talking to each other. But voice evaporates. So human beings began to create signs and alphabets and figures so that you can write something on the phone and send it to another location. And so at every juncture of human existence, you see a deliberate effort. Human beings trying to communicate with one another and trying to express themselves. And so media has been very powerful. And look at the evolution of the media now. That as about 100 years ago, if you needed to write a letter, if you needed to communicate to someone, you would need to write a letter and then someone travel for months for your letter to get to the other destination, and then they write back to you for months. And in those days, when all we had was writing, if you are a Christian and you read the Acts of the Apostles, you would have read about Apostle Paul and how he writes to the Ephesians. He writes a letter. If there was a phone conversation in the day of Apostle Paul, he would not pick his phone and say, "Nigeria brothers," and that was people be recorded as together. But phone conversations were not there at the time. But human communication was so needed that they write it. And so we have this tool in our hands now. But unfortunately, the tool we have for communication with our phone and the media that we have available to us now has become, as someone described it, our coffee. Someone said that the young people are not carrying their coffins on their hands. And why this is so? It is because of the distraction that are imminent in the devices that we carry around. But while there are distractions embedded in the device that we have, there are also benefits in the media that we have. So it totally depends on your exercise of or how you utilize this device that we have. And because of my background, being a human rights activist, one of the foremost use of social media to me, or any form of media at all, is self-expression and the opportunity of using this media as an avenue to ensure that our society is created in or recreated in a manner that benefits each and every one of us. Media has done a lot in terms of ensuring that we have good governance in Nigeria. It is through media that we're able to organize answers. It is through media that great movements have begun. Whether it is a political movement like Obedience, whether it is a social media movement or whatever it is through this media. So how you utilize them and how you learn and understand how to utilize this media is very, very crucial to your development as a person. It's very crucial to your development as a person. And so, I would like to just highlight a few advantages of the media that we have and how we can positively utilize them. Now, the media has made it possible that even if you do not go to school of journalism, you can form a page and become a forum that transmits news to the people. So it is like a democratization of this press. So that anybody from anywhere can just on your phone and then you are reporting. But imagine having a device and all you do with that. What are when our ears are designed, even if nobody gets the sound, the moment this is around, so I'll just round up now. The whole idea of how he said that he agreed with Dr. Mashua, who said that it is the young people that know more. I wish I had the opportunity to be in that position. It's not young people at home in Nigeria. It is the generation before that has stolen our future. How can a person who has 2 billion, one person in government has stolen billions and billions? But then it takes one year for it. But there is an organized
Okay, so you 100 that.